Hi, welcome to Radiant Resilience. Torrey here. This video, I am going to show you a short sequence that is perfect if you're feeling just a little bit stiff or if you're wanting to do some gentle stretches before you go to bed or before you're going to do some other bigger movements. All of it can be done lying down, so that's another bonus. So if you can do it straight from your bed when you first wake up in the morning or right before you go to sleep so that you get a better night's sleep as well. Okay, so keep yourself safe as we move through these poses and skip or modify anything that doesn't feel right for your body. All right, so come on down to the floor and start off in your constructive rest pose, which is knees bent, feet flat on the floor, arms comfortably from your sides, palms up, and the back of the neck is nice and long. And tune into the natural flow of your breath. And simply by noticing the breath, observing the breath, it will tend to slow down and deepen a little on its own. And then let your belly soften, allowing it to rise and fall with your breath. And merely by doing this belly breath in this position, it softens the low back and it softens some of the muscles that can sometimes be chronically tight that hold on to or grip in the low back. So we're just really gently coaxing some softening there by moving the diaphragm, by moving the belly. And then when you sigh, try to soften your low back and belly even more. So you're not pressing it down into the floor, you're just relaxing it as much as you're able to in this moment. And do the same thing with the shoulders. Let them relax, melting towards the floor. And after you've done that, see if you can lengthen the back of the neck out even more. Okay, from here, we're going to work on the hips and the low back and pelvis a little bit. So very subtle, gentle movement. It's not, you're not pushing to your max here. So without moving much of anything, you're going to take your right knee and move it in the direction that your toes are pointing. So it just shifts forward towards the direction your toes are pointing, and you'll feel your hips tilt a little bit in one direction and then come back to center. And now shift the left knee forward and release. Yep, and that's the movement. So that's why I'm saying you're not pressing into a really deep shift. You're keeping it fairly soft. And as you're doing this, notice how you've got a little rocking happening in your hips, a very small twist in the low back. And as the one knee shifts forward, it almost causes a very subtle arch in the low back, and then it releases as the knee comes back in. So very gentle, side to side. You might feel some places that are a little tight. I'm noticing some spots on my outer hips. And in general, you'll feel your tighter places first. So that also gives you just a little bit of information about what is going on with your body. Okay. And then come back center and sigh. Now we're going to come into a very small cat-cow at the hip. On your inhale, push your tailbone down into the floor as your low back arches away from the floor. On the exhale, push the low back down into the floor, and without pressing down in your feet. So without recruiting the legs, you're using just the core. Low back pushes down and the tailbone tries to curl up. Now, you're just using the core, so it's very subtle curling up of the tailbone. If you go too far, that probably means that you started to use your legs for this. All right, so we're going to inhale, tailbone down, arch the low back up. Exhale, low back down, and the intention of curling the tailbone up just by core muscles. Inhale, arch. Exhale, curl. Now, think of your pelvis, this bony area that we're rocking on right now, as a clock face, and your tailbone is 6 o'clock. And when you push the low back down, that's your 12 o'clock position. So we're alternating between 6 and 12. Okay, and then come back to neutral and sigh. And now we're going to do the knee slide again. So one knee slides forward, and you'll feel yourself rocking either over to your 9 o'clock or your 3 o'clock, and come back. And then the other knee slides forward, and you shift to the other side of the clock. And you're just going to do a few of those, just to get that feeling on the face of your clock that is your sacrum, your hip area here, the spot between your low back and your tailbone, and from hip to hip. Okay, now come center, neutral, sigh. Now we're going to work all around the face of the clock 3 times slowly, one direction, and then reverse 3 circles the other direction. So start at 12 o'clock and then gradually go all the way around. So you'll notice that your knees are doing that shifting to bring you through to each side of the clock. And then you're also moving through that mini cat-cow to bring you to the top and the bottom of the clock. Okay, so that's 3 for me. If you haven't finished your third one, take your time. When you finish 3 that direction, 3 in the other direction. And again, you could really push into this and try to go to your maximum range of motion. I'm inviting you to back off from that so that maybe you're like at a 75% effort or less even. And then once you've come to your third time on that second side, back to just relaxing and sigh. Beautiful. From there, we're going to start to rock our knees side to side. What I call these windshield wiper twists. And your head is gently rocking opposite the knees. And let's slow this down even more. So you're inhaling through center, exhaling as you twist. Inhale through center, exhale as you twist. And if you're like me and you're kind of wanting things to feel better, but you're like thinking about all the things on your list, you might be tempted to rush. And I'm suggesting that you slow it down and then come onto your one side, stop there, stay in the twist, and just rock your head side to side. So I mentioned we're trying to work into the whole body with this practice, getting into a little bit of everything so that you feel balanced and have ease in your body when you're finished. Okay, now turn your head opposite the knees and sigh. And then come through the middle and to your other side. And once there, let your head rock side to side. And then turn your head away from your knees and sigh. And come through center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Back to center and sigh again. All right, from there, with your right hand, bring your right knee into your chest, and you have the option of keeping your left leg where it is or lengthening the left leg out on the floor. Totally up to you and what feels better. And then with your right hand, guide your right knee in circles. Good, and now reverse your circle. And then bring the knee into the chest for a tight hug and sigh again. Set the right foot down on the floor, bring the left knee up, holding onto it with your left hand, and then choose right leg bent or long, circle the left knee. Reverse the circles. And you will naturally feel your pelvis kind of doing that same little tilting action in response to the circles that you're doing. That's fine. Just let it happen if it feels okay. And then knee to the chest and sigh. And then stretch both legs long on the floor. Arms come up over your head. Flex your feet and push out through the heels of your hands. On your inhale, stretch out through the whole body. And on your exhale, melt into the floor. And then do that again, but this time point the toes and reach out through the fingertips. Exhale, release. And then we'll do that same stretch. You choose which one felt the best for your third stretch. And let it go. Walk your feet back to the floor. And then arms stretch up into an L position or an I position. So straight up or as close to that as you can. And you're going to try to let your arms be on the floor or as close to the floor as you can without any pain. And then pull the elbows down into a W. Open the arms out to a T. Sweep up to your L. Pull down, W, open, T. And again, reach up, come down to the W, open out to your T. One more time, reach up, W, and T. Good. When you're in this T position, press the backs of your arms into the floor. Feel that space in between your shoulder blades that engages when you press into the floor. And that's an area that can get kind of weak and long, which contributes to rounding forward with our shoulders. So we're just going to strengthen that spot and then relax. Now, reach up towards the ceiling with your arms. Try to keep your arms fairly straight. And then inhale, reach up even higher so the shoulders lift up towards the ceiling. Exhale, push the shoulders down. Inhale, stretch the shoulders up. Exhale, push them down. And again, reach up, push down, adding on, arms open, press down. Arms come up, shoulders lift, shoulders down, arms open, and press. One more time, reach up, shoulders lift, shoulders down, and press. Excuse me. Now reach back up. Now you're going to do, the shoulders are going to alternate. So one shoulder is going to lift as the other shoulder presses down, and switch, and switch, and switch. So not only are we getting the shoulder blades moving with this position or with this movement, we are also bringing in a very gentle upper body twist as well. Okay, we're going to take one more. and then relax. Give your body a little hug, and then move your elbows into one direction as your knees go the other way, and switch, and switch, and switch one more time, and switch. Come center, reverse so the other arm is on top, same movement. Elbows go one direction, knees go the other. So notice I'm not going into a full twist with my legs. I'm kind of matching the range of motion of the elbows going side to side. I'm matching my knees to that range. Okay, and then come back center. Arms down comfortably from your sides, palms up, and sigh. All right, from there, knees into your chest, and we'll either rock side to side or circle knees going in the same direction. If you are circling, go the opposite way now. Good, and then come center. Now open the knees apart, circle them around, and bring them back together. Just working into our hip joint mobility, getting the synovial fluid within the joint moving around so that the joint gets lubricated, and then reverse your circles. Now, one thing I would say is, as we age, sometimes hip stuff comes up in our joints. One thing I notice is when I'm doing this, if I'm pushing in with my hands, I on one side get some kind of like a crunchy feeling sometimes. So if that's the case with you, see if you can just have your hands light on the knees so that you're not putting pressure into the joint. The hands are just a real gentle guide. And for me, when I do that clicking or sound or that feeling within the joint goes away. Okay, now come back to center. Keep the knees up towards your chest, just open them wide so the soles of the feet come together, and then slide your hands down your calves as close towards your feet as you're able to go, and then pull the feet towards your forehead. Lengthen out your tailbone, and you can stay here, or you can separate the feet to your happy baby position, staying center or rocking, depending on what's feeling better for you there. And then back to the middle if you are rocking, and breathe in and out. Excellent. Release, knees coming into your chest, hands onto the backs of your thighs, flex your feet. Inhale, stretch the legs up. Exhale, release them down. Inhale, stretch them up. Exhale, release down and come up and bend. So we're stretching out our hamstrings. At the same time, we're pumping the legs to get things a little bit warmed up. And as I said, this is a very gentle practice. So this can be a warm-up before you do something more strenuous. Okay, go ahead, lengthen out the legs, and maybe reach the arms up now and point and flex your feet. And as you're doing that, you can move your wrists, palms up, palms down. Or it can be a cool down, or it can be just an easy stretch to work out any stiffness or to get your day started or to settle in for the night. And now make soft fists with your hands with your thumbs out. Rotate your ankles and your wrists. And reverse. Good. Flexing the feet. Shake out your hands. Bring the arms down by your sides. Turn your palms to face up. Bend your knees and place feet on the floor. Breathe in, and as you exhale, start to curl the tailbone up off the floor. Now this time you get to use your legs and stop with your hips just curled up. You still have your low back down. You still have your ribs on the floor. Take another breath in, and as you exhale, come up a little higher. So now the waist has lifted, but the ribs are still down. And maybe this is where you stop, or on your next exhale, come up to where it feels like your full bridge. Everybody will be different. If you feel comfortable with it, you can walk your shoulder blades in towards your shoulders or towards the spine, and you can choose your best arm option. Pressing the backs of the arms down, you could clasp, and sometimes it feels good to bend your elbows with the upper arms down and the forearms pointing up, and that gives you a little more leverage to lift your heart if that feels right. And then if you do have the arms bent or the hands clasped, let that go. Take a breath in. On your exhale, release the rib cage down. Breathe in. Exhale, roll the waist down. And then finally, this last exhale, hips settle in and take another sigh. All right, take your right ankle to your left thigh. So this is important. You want the right ankle to stay on the left thigh. What tends to happen is people want to do something with their foot. So you want to keep the ankle on the thigh. You're just moving the knee with your hands guiding, crossing the knee over towards the left shoulder, and then pressing the thigh open up by the hip crease. So you're just alternating in and out, and in and out. Okay, good. The next time you're in that out position, stay with that press a little longer up by your hip crease. Nothing wrong with pressing by the knee. Just when you press by the hip crease, you get more space in the front of your hip and that area where the hip flexors are. Okay, good. Now you can let that press go depending on how your hips and knees feel. You can keep your left foot on the floor. You can step it up onto something higher like a block or some books or something, or even bring it up onto a chair, or bring the knee up. Hands or a belt or a strap can go around the back of your left thigh. So notice your right hand's going through the window of your legs, and then rock side to side. Make sure you keep your top foot flexed to stabilize your knee. And then as you're going side to side, just notice what you're feeling, and then find the place that feels like your best stopping point to breathe into it. Good. Now set the left foot back onto the floor. Cross your right thigh all the way over your left thigh so the knees are right on top of each other, and then bring the knees in again. Now, maybe this is where you stay, just holding knees in, or flex your feet, slide your hands down towards the feet, and pull them towards your shoulders. Good. And then release. And we'll do the other side. Left ankle, right thigh. Foot's flexed, and then just the knee is moving side to side. And as you're crossing it over, and then as you press it open, press by your hip crease. Okay, and then press it open. Hold that press just a bit longer. Releasing that press, decide if your right foot's going to be on the floor, if you want to step it up onto something a little higher, or use a strap or your hands around the back of your right thigh, and then go side to side. You can even use your left elbow to kind of continue that press open with your left leg, and then notice and find where you want to stop. Breathe right there. Okay, and then release. Knees to the chest, rock side to side again. Okay, and then place let's come onto our side. And you're going to support your head with your bottom arm in whatever way feels good. You can have it laying down, you can have it propped. Totally up to you. This next part, you're going to bring your top knee to your chest. Now, if holding onto your foot does not feel comfortable for your knee, you can get a strap or a belt or something and loop it around your foot to bring the leg back. And we're just going to floss. So we're stretching the quads and the hip flexors, and we're going to floss them. So the knee comes forward and back. Uh-oh, I think I forgot one of the stretches that we did on one side and not the other. So we'll come back to that in just a second. And then length or bring the leg back. Good. And then release. Knee to the chest. Let's rock onto our back again. And just so we stay even, we still have to do, we did our figure four, but we didn't do the second part. So set your right foot back down on the floor, cross your left thigh all the way over, and then bring the knees into your chest. Gotta stay even. Now you can stay here holding on to the knees or flex your feet and slide hands down towards the feet and give them a gentle pull towards your shoulders. And then we'll do our quad stretch on the other side after this. But I just want to make sure we're even. All right, release. Knees to the chest. Now we're going to get ready to roll to our other side. I'm just going to flip around so I'm still facing you. Make sure your head feels comfortably supported, and then bring the top knee into your chest. Hands slide down towards your foot, or you can get a loop a strap or a belt around your foot, and then bring the leg back and bring it forward. I have you doing this on your side instead of a quad stretch in a different position because you have a lot of control here. And the idea is to feel this in the thigh or in the front of your hip, but not in the knee. So you have control. If you are feeling any tugging in the knee, you can change. Okay, let's go back. You can change how you have your leg positioned so that you don't feel tugging in the knee. All right, let's take one more breath right here. Good, and then bring the knee back into your chest, roll onto your back, knees to your chest, rock side to side. Okay, we are almost done. So the next thing you're gonna do is lengthen out your legs, arms down by your sides with your palms up. Now this is just an easy movement and you want it to be kind of loose and quick. You're just gonna move, flap your feet in and out, in and out. Your ankles are kind of floppy and your legs are pretty soft here. And this is just bringing, again, internal and external rotation into your hips, as well as loosening up the legs and the ankles and feet. Okay, and then, sorry, my feet are not on my mat. And then come back to neutral and side. And then the last thing I'm going to have you do is place the heels on the floor. So you want to kind of plant your heels, and then you're going to loosely flap your toes forward and back, almost like a really loose point and flex, and you're not alternating. So one foot isn't going one direction and then the other is going the opposite. They're moving in the same direction, kind of like what my hands are doing. And as the heel stays planted on your mat, it causes this pulsing action in your body, which is really good at releasing tension patterns. And then just relax your legs and take a great big sigh. And then walk feet back to the floor, returning to constructive rest pose, the way we started. Give yourself another breath here. And then bring your knees into your chest, rock side to side. And then roll to your side. And now you're ready to be upright. So I hope you found that very gentle, short stretch out sequence helpful, and that you will be able to use it in whatever way you need to, before or after more strenuous movements, or before you get out of bed, or before you go to sleep, or anytime you just feel a little bit stiff and you need to work things out and loosen things up. Thank you. Let me know how you like this. Subscribe if you want to be notified when I post new videos. And let me know if you have any requests for future videos too. I always love your feedback. Thank you for spending some time with me, and I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.